Dr. Almona there earlier today on Business Nigeria. The World Bank has disclosed that Nigeria's GDP growth rate is expected to decelerate to 2.9% in 2023 and remain at the same pace in 2024, which is barely above population growth. The bank revealed this in its Global Economic Prospects report for the year 2023. The World Bank also stated that the growth momentum in the non-oil sector is likely to be restrained by continued weakness in Nigeria's oil sector. In sub-Saharan Africa, the bank noted that growth is projected to edge up to 3.6% in 2023 before picking up 3.9%. However, they revealed that the rest of the continent is expected to perform better, citing that an expected moderation of global commodity prices should impact cost of living increases. Meanwhile, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Michael Olawade Cole, is urging government to tackle a series of challenges facing the economic and business environment of the Nigerian economy. This position was again buttressed earlier today on TVC News Business Nigeria by the Director General of the LCCI, Dr. Chinyere Almona, while breaking down some of the economic issues highlighted by the LCCI in its 2023 economic outlook. Dr. Almona says the LCCI, among other things, is asking the federal government to sustain its targeted interventions in critical sectors of the economy.
When you think about debt, the debt that we project is supposed to accommodate the deficit. And the deficit is as a result of lowered revenue and increasing expenses or costs. So when you put that together, you have a deficit position that we are worried about, which is why we're thinking borrowing. Let's look at the elements. So one, we need to reduce our costs, and of course, the fuel subsidy is a major cost, but we also need to increase our revenue. And so we need to explore all the avenues to increase revenue. We've talked about diversification for a while. We need to encourage that to happen a bit more. The oil sector, which is a significant contributor to the economy, is dwindling in its performance. So when I look at the budget and I see that the expectation, one of the assumptions is that we'll make 1.69 billion barrels per day. I worry because currently, as at last year, it was about 1.2. So how are we going to scale up in the short term?
A report by FMDQ Exchange has revealed that amidst investors and exporters' demand, foreign exchange sales increased to 56.5 trillion naira in 11 months of 2022, representing an increase of 10.1% recorded in 11 months of 2021. The FX market in 2022 witnessed scarcity and increased interventions by the CBN, leading to a dwindling decline in foreign reserves. Investors and exporters' foreign exchange turnover in 2021 stood at 58.18 trillion naira, as against 68.2 trillion naira in 2020. Analysts have expressed that the intense supply of FX at the investors and exporters window has impacted economic growth, stressing the role the CBN had continuously played. Today's session at the Nigerian Exchange closed positive with gains in market capitalization. Well, the all-share index increased by 0.55% to close at 51,729.82 basis points. Market closed positive with Thomas Worth, which led the gainers chart, followed by Champion Breweries, FTN Cocoa, Mutual Benefits Insurance, and Courtville. While the Chalaram topped the losers chart by 9.89%, followed by Royal Exchange 7.41%, Wapik Insurance and 6.67%, Mansard Insurance 6.54%, and RT Briscoe 3.57% at the close of trading. Analyzing today's trading performance is a stockbroker and financial analyst, Mr. Rotimi Fakayejo. He noted that a factor that will encourage future trading is a large value and volume of trade. Well, moving on now, Asians equities hedge higher today while the dollar steadied as investors braced for U.S. inflation data will influence Federal Reserve's interest rate policy. MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan, 0.28%, while Japan's Nikkei gained 1%. Australia's ASX 200 rose 0.8%. China's stock opened 0.1%, higher than Hong Kong Hang Seng, which gained 0.6% at the start of the day. Investors are now projecting the upcoming inflation report could show further deceleration, potentially give the Fed a room to slow the pace of interest rate rise. Market participants were pulled in different directions by unexpected build in U.S. crude and fuel inventories, global economic uncertainties, and China's reopening its economy. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude experienced an upward price review of 0.36% to sell at $75.38 per barrel. It's a salt. Brent crude futures also sells at $80.46 with an uptick of 0.45%. Bonnie Light fails to sell at $79.78 with a downward margin of 0.04%. And the OPEC basket crude dealers are offering $77.57 per barrel with a price surge of 1.84%. All right, Mr. Rotimi Fakayejo was with us earlier to analyze the close of trade today, which stayed positive. Take a listen.
Today, the market price is positive. We look at the various sectors. I think they were represented on the Guinness chart, although it may have been very, on a very little note, except for Boas Cement, that actually added the greatest value in trading to the market today and also in terms of appreciation. And I think today is quite amazing because we have quite a good value being traded. The market traded more than 8 billion naira today. And interestingly, just about 4 companies contributed about 80% of the total value traded. We have Boas Cement, we have Access Core, we have GT Co, and also FBN. All of them together, put together, contributed about 7 billion to the traded value today. And I think that is quite amazing. And what should interest anyone more about the situation in the market right now is we are seeing high value and volume being traded. So that explains trust, that explains confidence in the market. So I believe strongly that even in spite of the election that is coming, people still have confidence in the market, believing strongly that after the after the rain, there will also come sunshine.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has assured marketers and traders that it has made the redesigned Naira notes comprising 1,000 Naira, 500 Naira, and 200 Naira available for them via the automated teller machines. Speaking at a sensitization tour on the new Naira notes to traders at the Balogun market in Lagos, the Apex Bank branch controller in Lagos, Mr. Koya Bobrokola, explained that the currency change is a good step with a lot of benefits to the economy. He adds that the Monetary Authority initially had a challenge as people were not depositing the old notes. But the situation has changed. Mr. Barry Bokola, however, encouraged stakeholders to be the Apex Bank's mouthpiece by spreading the message and protecting and keeping the new Naira notes.
We're here to sensitize the marketers and the traders about the redesigned Naira currency notes. There were old notes in circulation before now, and we are replacing. You will not expect 100% at the same time, but the banks were supplying to the banks, and the banks will be replacing them. But this is an order coming from the Apex Bank that all ATM machines henceforth should be loaded only with the new notes. And so we expect compliance from the banks, and we believe that they are complying because they know the implication of non-compliance.
Of the things they're supposed to do is what they are doing now. Let them relate with the grassroots. Let them relate with the grassroots, because the grassroots, the percentage of the grassroots is more than those people on top. In Nigeria, when something is introduced new, there's going to be complaint. Even when the other old notes, when it was first in circulation, it was the same thing. But as time goes on, if the old note is out of circulation, they will appreciate what they have.